Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. We are on episode 2 of Sketchbook Sunday. I just want to give a huge thanks for the response on my last video. You guys were so incredibly sweet and the response was so positive. And I also asked you guys how often you would like to see these videos, and the majority of you said every Sunday. So that's what I'm going to aim for. I don't want to make any concrete promises because I don't doubt that there's going to be a week where I am just drowning in work and probably won't upload, but for the most part, I plan to do this every single Sunday, so yeah, I'm gonna do my best to keep up with it. And it's also a lot easier to make these types of videos with, drawings and, something that's a little bit less time consuming and disciplined as opposed to an oil painting, which is incredibly time consuming. And also this allows me to keep up with my sketchbook, which I haven't really been doing the past 2 years. I'm kind of I fell off the wagon with it. And it can be a really nice refresher from oil painting, and you can just play around and jot down ideas, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So that's kind of the goal I have for this series, is just to maybe discuss different topics or ideas. We shall see. I think there's a ton of doors I can open up with this, so I'm just gonna keep at it and see where it goes. For this drawing, I used charcoal on the face, and I just kept building and building and building up the shadows, and it did change towards the end of the drawing. It looks quite different from when I started. I also added a little bit of watercolor for the blossoms. I have been really into blossoms lately. I don't know what it is. My brain just goes into these obsessions that I want to paint all the time. I've gone through this blue phase, which I think I might still be in a little bit, but I think it's turning into a green phase, honestly. A lot of my paintings have more green in them nowadays. Or I'm more fascinated by green than I was blue. I've gone through a rose phase, a water phase, which I'm not actually out of the water phase. Some of you were asking if I'm going to be painting water ever again, and of course I will be. I love painting water. I just decided to try something different for a while because painting water ripples for a long time, and there's just a tiny face somewhere in there in that water, it can be mentally exhausting, and I just wanted to experiment with different kinds of details. So I definitely am itching to paint some water droplets and just water in general. Again, I'm just experimenting with different things, so definitely gonna paint more water. So don't you guys worry, that is still my thing. I'm gonna keep up with that as well. There's just so many possibilities in art. You could do so much. How do you choose? What do I want to do? Personally, I just go with what I'm fascinated with. As far as colors and subject matter goes, that's kind of a very intuitive process for me. People often ask why I paint mostly women, and that's because I am one. So naturally, it's a lot easier for me to express myself through the female form. It just feels more natural and more honest, I guess. I have painted men before, and I have drawn them, and it's on my website. I've drawn YouTubers, I've done male portraits for gallery exhibits, so it's not that I'm against painting men, not at all. It just, as a woman, it feels more natural to paint and draw women as my expression. So that's really it. I also did a little blossom study off to the side of the sketchbook. So I did the portrait, and then I did a separate little blossom study. I found out that watercolor actually works for the drawing moleskin. I wouldn't suggest using a lot of water, but you can use a little bit and get away with it. This isn't a moleskin intended for watercolor, so I probably shouldn't be doing this, and there actually is one for watercolor, I believe. I don't take my word for it, do your own research. I just recall seeing something created by Moleskine that was for watercolor, but I'm not 100% sure, so yeah, don't quote me on that. But I decided to be a rebel child and use it on my drawing sketchbook instead, and it worked, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Oh yeah. Don't tell me how to live my life. But normally I wouldn't suggest using watercolor on drawing paper. I think this just happens to work because the paper is relatively thick, so yeah, usually definitely you want to stick with watercolor paper and paper that is specifically intended for that. But I don't know, I got lucky, I guess. I happened to get away with it. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a little brief update on my work, talk a little bit more about it and what I'm doing, where I'm headed. The truth is I have no idea, but it's fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next Sunday with the next Sketchbook Sunday. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.